When will Star Wars fans be happy with Sam Witwer and Bo-Katan herself, Katie? So this looks interesting. I haven't seen it. I wanted to watch it and go, talk about it with you guys. And, I think it's a good time to talk about this because, Star Wars fans can be so divided sometimes, especially with how poorly the Acolyte performed and just how bad it was. And then the news we have about, a new trilogy coming out. So I want to hear what these guys have to say, and let's talk about it together. So let's watch.
So intimidated by the amount of work that I had.
Right.
And the amount of the story that they had given me.
Right.
And this faith that they had in me.
And John is a monster, isn't he? He's like, I don't want you here, Katie. Get out of here.
He's amazing. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And so
it's so funny listening to her voice because all I hear is Bo-Katan. It's this, or I hear Pitch Black. When she played in the first Riddick film, that's what I see.
I have said this many times that he held my hand through that season.
Oh, dude.
Because I got pep talks all the time.
He was an actor. He
was amazing the entire time. And just he was like, you were right for this role the moment we hired you.
Mm-hmm.
Just do what you do.
Yeah.
As Bo, this character better than anybody. Just do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, she is Bo-Katan, man. I mean, she has everything about her is Bo-Katan. It just feels like her because she voiced them in Clone Wars, voiced them in The Mandalorian. So it just feels right,
Okay, but he did. He believed in me so much, and I leaned on that multiple times because there were times where my mind would start to run, and I would get ahead of myself, and I would get into what people were going to say and what they were.
See, I think that's with any creative, honestly. I think most creatives are like that, where they think through things and sometimes overthink things when they just need to get in and perform, right? They just need to get in, do their thing, and perform.
We're going to think of my performance.
Because it's Star Wars and everyone's going to see it.
Because everyone's going to say something. It's Star Wars.
Everyone's going to say something.
Everyone's going to have an opinion.
Yeah.
That's true. We are a passionate fan base. We have opinions and we will voice them. There's some people that like the sequel trilogy. There's some people that don't like the sequel trilogy, right? And it's okay. Voice your opinion. It's when you start to tell other people they're idiots or wrong or whatever. It's just an opinion, man, on a flick that's meant to be creative and you take it your own way, right? So some people will love it. Some people will hate it.
And going in, you can't win them all.
No.
So I knew going in, I was split. You know that. There's going to be a group of people that think you're terrible. And that if you allow that to get into your head, for me anyway, it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Actually fuck you up on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's interesting about Star Wars is you don't know for 10 or 20 years. You could be like, oh, we blew it. And then you find out 10 or 20 years later, no, it's beloved. You're like, what? My buddy Dave.
I can say that's pretty true, especially with the prequels. I liked the prequels. I was never a guy that didn't like them. The only thing I really didn't like was Jar Jar Binks and how young the Anakin Skywalker actor was in episode 1. But overall, I liked the sequel trilogy, or the prequel trilogy, excuse me. And, episode 2 had some moments where it was just not that great, but there's still some really cool moments, like when you have Obi-Wan Kenobi going to Kamino and things like that. And there's just some really cool stuff that you wouldn't have got to see, but because of Clone Wars and you knew a little bit of the history and stuff. But seeing all of that filled in, getting to see episode 3 and one of the greatest lightsaber battles with Anakin and Obi-Wan, I think what he says is true because back then at least, most fans weren't always on social media. And so now you have it to where fans have almost instant reactions. And so for actors, that's probably even harder because they're getting instant feedback, right? Until you're like, oh man,
David Collins, who is the reason I'm here, by the way, because David Collins, who started at LucasArts, that's where he started interning at Skywalker, and then he was on the sound department at LucasArts. And they'd created this painting of Starkiller.
I was going to ask you if this is how you got Starkiller.
Yeah, and it looked like me. It didn't look exactly like me, but it looked enough like me.
Dude, and he is amazing as Starkiller. Like, he is Starkiller. He is Darth Maul. Like, I would love to see him play Darth Maul on the screen because, Ray Park is kind of getting older now. I think Sam could definitely just fit that because he's done the voice for so long.
And David then slipped my headshot in the pile to be considered for auditions. So it's all on him that I'm even here. David then went on to play Proxy because he was filling in. They were going to it was hilarious. I can say it now.
Cool.
They were talking about no, we're eventually going to get Seth Green or something like that.
Dude, and look at this. Is that a little Darth Maul statue down here? I'm looking at her set. That's like a Darth Maul statue, dude. That's great. To
do this assassin droid that's like your best friend. So he's supposed to be super friendly, but he's constantly trying to kill you, but he's super friendly. It's a droid that Vader designed to mess with your mind.
And that sounds exactly like what Darth Vader would do.
And David was filling in, but he played it perfectly. Mm-hmm. So suddenly a bunch of us were like, dude, just give it to David. You're only going to direct another actor to do what David's already doing.
Yeah.
So David, anyway, went on to do all kinds of different sound stuff, and now he's over at Skywalker. He was the sound designer for season 3 of Mandalorian.
Yes.
He's done a whole bunch of other stuff, but this is all. What was the point of what I was saying?
We were talking about Starkiller and how you got the job.
Right.
And
that's ADD in a nutshell, man. I do that so many times. I'm like, wait, what was I saying?
This is how you showed up, and then you said there was a proxy about it, and that you got him a job.
Yeah. So he. But there was a greater point. You were talking. So David Collins talks about. Because, you do these Star Wars projects, and certainly around the prequels, suddenly everyone was sounding off about how they felt about Star Wars. Oh, it's George Lucas ruined my childhood, stuff like that. And David always felt like, oh, what sucks is I feel like I got into Star Wars after it was ruling the world, and we're working on a prequel game. Oh, we just got trashed in the reviews. Everyone hates us. Oh, I worked really hard as my first lead sound design, and it's this game called Republic Commando, and oh, look,
which is a great game. Republic Commando, dude. Great game. Just do a complete remaster of that game, guys. Give us dude, how cool would it be if they gave us some type of RPG Republic Commando? Single player, in the style of a Mass Effect or something, RPG, Republic Commando. That would be freaking rad, dude.
Okay, we failed. The reviewers hated, and he would be beaten down by that experience. And then you jump ahead 10 years or 20 years, and Republic Commandos are everywhere. At cons, they're in the shows now. Yeah. They're all over the place.
They're freaking rad.
And this is where we started learning, no, you don't know for 10 or 20 years. Clone Wars, you know how many times we were told how much time we were wasting? It's a terrible show. It's terrible. Why are you even doing this?
I want to know who is telling them this. Because I never felt that way. I feel like that was probably execs or people in suits telling these guys this. Or maybe even other actors, right? Saying oh, no, don't spend your time on that.
I don't understand. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. And then some decade later, we come back to finish the show, and suddenly, oh my God, you were in Clone Wars? And these are heavy hitter showrunners, big shows going, you were in Clone Wars. Oh my God, Clone Wars. Tell us all about Clone Wars. And you're like, yeah. This was the little show that everyone told us we were wasting our time on.
Yeah.
And George really lost the plot, man. And George doesn't know what he's doing and all this. So you don't know. You don't know. So that's the fun thing is you seem to be escaping unscathed even now. So I think in the 10 or 20 years,
they'll hate me.
It's going to be, no. They generally only
they don't
go with that.
Dude, Katie, I think she was great as Bo-Katan. I mean, and I love the fact that she was also the voice actor in Clone Wars. I think that was great. But I really think what we're hearing here is just Sam and Katie talk about just the entertainment culture, probably the people that are nearest to them saying these things rather than the fans, right? When they hear most of the fans, they're going to say things like, oh my gosh, you were in Clone Wars. Oh my gosh, you were in this. And people that aren't that close to the projects or whatever else aren't hearing that terrible feedback and things like that.
Really fall into, they don't go the other direction.
I think
Thank God.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was really cool to hear them talk about that, talk shop about Star Wars. But yeah, it's funny, man. I really do think when you create something that's interesting, when you create something that the fans want, you're going to get good feedback. And there's always going to be people on either extreme, right? But this was really cool to hear, like Sam and Katie's kind of thoughts on some of that and what it's like as a creator. But appreciate it, guys. If you like the video, make sure you comment down below, subscribe, and blow it up, baby.
Make sure to like and subscribe, or we will execute Order 66. Check out our other videos on the screen as well.
Yes, my lord. Blast him!